Hey everybody, it's Bret Gregory. So excited to be here with you. We have an awesome program for you today. If you're just joining us, please go to the questions box in the control panel there and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. And we've got a great program for you today. Today, I'm going to be introducing you to a really good friend of mine. This is really special, and I'm super excited about it. My friend's name is Allison Maslan, and she is the CEO of Allison Maslan International. It's a global business mentoring company, and it was also named. She was named one of the top women entrepreneurs who inspire by Self-Made magazine. And she's also #1 best-selling author of Blast Off, and Allison's built 10 successful companies starting out at age 19, and this is really true. Her client list has included Ben & Jerry's, Supercuts, Merrill Lynch, and Charlotte Russe. And although her passion is helping you grow a high-revenue business and a passionate life, she's also been featured in Success, Fortune, and Forbes magazine. And she's a regular contributor to Entrepreneur magazine and a featured expert on ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and Fox across the US. Allison's journey is highlighted in the new documentary, Inspired by 11. I'll give a shout out to Jeff from Vancouver and Fred in Minnesota. So if you're just joining us, please go to the questions box and tell us what city and country you're tuning in from. And let's welcome Allison Maslan, my friend, and tell us, hi Allison, thanks so much for being on here with us.
Hi, Bret. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So good to have you. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be learning today and what you're going to be teaching us.
Yes, I'm going to teach today some different components from my blueprint, which I call the Scale It method. And I know you've got the business owners on here today. You're in lots of different levels of your business. Some of you are starting out. Some of you are a little further along. But you want to be thinking big picture in your business. So this method helps you to look towards building that 7-figure business and above.
Oh, and I would love to hear from you. Go to the questions box and tell us what stage in your business you're at. And we can break it down really easy. Like #1, you're just getting started. You don't have any clients yet, but you got a great idea and you're really kind of getting some momentum. #2, you have some clients and you're looking to get more clients. So you're kind of, maybe in that kind of year 1 level, you're just getting off the ground. Or level 3, you've got a significant number of clients and now you're looking to scale and take it up to the next level. So right now, go to the questions box and tell us where you're at. #1, you're just getting started with your business. #2, you've got a little business and you're looking to take it up. Or #3, you've got a significant business and you're looking to take it up to the next level. Go to the questions box right now and tell us which level you're at. So just tell us a little more about your signature method and what we're going to learn.
So when you're thinking of scaling your business, and again, even if you're just starting out, you want to be thinking big picture and be clear on what it is that you want to create with this business. Where do you want to go? So it's first about getting clarity with that. And then we're going to talk about some of the challenges, the biggest challenges that business owners run into, your roadblocks, your obstacles when you're wanting to scale. And I'm going to give you some solutions to that, all about the solutions. And then we're going to talk about how to leverage a team and building a team around you, even if you don't have a budget for that. And also how to leverage your time, because as a business owner, your time is your most valuable asset. And then if we have time, I'll also talk about how to expand your number of revenue streams, because one of the ways of scaling is to move beyond one revenue stream. So I'm going to teach you a trick to move from 1 to 3 pretty quickly. And we'll throw a little bit of the mindset in with it too, Bret, because, it's really all what goes on in our head on, how big we are willing to leap.
And so tell me again, you mentioned just a second ago what we're going to learn, how you're going to leverage your time, creating multiple income streams, and there was something else in there that I think I missed.
What business owners struggle with most and how to overcome that, how to scale the team. And I was also going to talk about decision making a little bit because, everything comes down to a decision, and that can be the big chokehold for business owners.
Got it. So right now, go to the questions box and tell us what's most important to you right now. So number one, if you're interested in learning how to leverage your time, because we all feel so overwhelmed right now. Number two, you would like to create multiple income streams. Number three, you want to hire somebody to take some work off your plate. Or number four, all of the above. And there's nothing wrong with any of those choices. But right now, go ahead and into the questions box and tell us. So Cheryl says number two, wants to create multiple income streams. And actually from the first question, Jeff mentioned she's at two or three. Fred is needing more clients. Maria is between 2 and 3. Okay, so right now go to the questions box and tell us where you're at and what's the most important to you. Number one, leveraging your time. Number two, creating multiple income streams. Number three, hiring, outsourcing. And number four, all of the above. Fred is a number one and number two. Maria is all of the above. Cheryl's a number two. Okay, that's good to know kind of where you guys are at. All right, Allison, go ahead and take it away.
Sure. So just to give you a little background about me is that, I've had a big learning curve just like all of you. And, we learned sometimes through our school of hard knocks what works and what doesn't work. And the benefit that I had early on was I knew I didn't know a lot. So I wasn't afraid to ask for support. So good for you all for being on this call today and getting support from Bret. He's amazing. And so my first business, I built a full service advertising and PR firm. And I will caveat that with saying I had no idea what I was doing. I really did. I had no training. I started doing greeting cards. I didn't even know how to print things. And people just started asking me, do you do brochures? Do you do radio? Do you do television? Do you do PR? And I would hear my dad's voice in my ear. My dad was an incredible business owner. And he would say, if someone asks you to do something and you think it's worthwhile, just say yes, and then figure out how to do it.
Totally.
And so, when your back's against the wall, it's amazing what you can come up with. I mean, you panic first and then you figure it out. But I'm sure, Bret, you can relate to that. And, I think it's important for the business owners to know, like all the things we'll talk about today, all the things that you're teaching, you don't have to know everything about it to move forward with it.
Absolutely.
So what happened was this ad agency grew really fast. It exploded. The timing was just right. And I took on these big national clients. And it was quite an amazing ride. But what ended up happening was that I kind of imploded because I had all this business coming in, but I didn't have the foundation underneath me. I didn't have the logistics, the support to support me and the team and all of that. And I just kind of fell apart. I became completely overwhelmed, exhausted, and I was just a wreck. And so even though I initially really loved what I did, because I really had no life outside of my business, I started to just kind of really resent the business. Like it was kind of killing my spirit. And so when I really had my back against the wall, I decided, I've got to do things in a very different way. So I walked away from everything, and I walked away from the successful business, the money, all that, and kind of set out in the world to no idea what I was going to do with my life. And I was a mom then, a single mom. So it was a big leap for me, a scary leap, but I was also excited to say, okay, I'm starting from scratch now. And I'm going to design a blueprint that really will support me, and that I can express my passion and my creativity and have a profitable business. And so that's really this blueprint that I developed many years ago, and I've used over and over again. It doesn't matter what business that I've been creating. And so one of the first things that has to happen is that you have to understand the value of your time, because the focus when you're running your business needs to be sales. And business owners get so caught up in all of the things that you have to develop, the processes, the funnels, taking care of your clients, running errands, doing bookkeeping. It's endless. And the thing is that if you're not out building relationships, creating business, whether it's online or offline, then you have no cash flow coming in. So you're only going to go so far. So what you want to do is begin to think about your business as working on it and not in it. And even though you might be good at something, doesn't mean necessarily that's what you're supposed to do. So first of all, think of the value of your time. How much, if you were getting paid by the hour, how much do you think your value is worth? Is it $200 an hour? Is it $500 an hour? Is it $1,000 an hour? Whatever that is. And think about how you're spending your time throughout the day. How much of that day are you actually bringing in income? And if you're spending the time, running errands and going to the post office and working on your website, chances are you're losing a lot of money.
This is great. I'd love to do a quick little exercise with everybody watching. Right now, go to the questions box and tell us, first off, how do you charge right now for your business? Even if you're just getting started and you don't have tons of clients yet, don't worry about that. Tell us how you think you're going to charge. And so number one, are you going to charge hourly? Do you have a service where you're going to charge, X number of dollars an hour? Number two, are you going to charge by the service? So maybe you have a package where you're going to give somebody, 3 meetings a month or whatever the service would be. Or number three, are you going to charge by the product or program that you're going to sell? So right now, go to the questions box and answer, you charge hourly, or number two, by the service, or number three, by your product. And then tell us, how much do you think your value is worth hourly? Even if you're not quite getting that yet, don't worry about it. Do you think your time is worth $100 an hour? Do you think it's worth $250 an hour? Do you think it's worth $1,000 or $2,000 an hour? Whatever the number is, go ahead and write it in the questions box so we can get a see. So Jeff currently charges hourly, but the next step is going to be a program. Polly charges by the product. Fred charges by the product. Awesome. So now go and tell us what you most want to be earning per hour of your time. So take that product and extrapolate, what is your time worth? So this is good. This is really helpful. Thanks, Allison.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really important, because if you're looking at your ROI for marketing that you're doing, let's say you do a webinar and you're spending on Facebook ads, and maybe you have a web person helping you, and a copywriter or something. And so you add up all your expenses, and then you add up how much sales you had, and you subtract it, right? And that's your net profit. But most people don't figure out you haven't added in the value of your time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to add that in there too to see, because if you spent 10 hours on it and you're worth $200 an hour, your time, that's another $2,000 you need to add into your costs. So
great. I took some notes there and I put it in the questions box there. So when you're calculating, I love that. When you're calculating what your profit is, which is important when you're in business, if you're going to be making some sales, you can't just look at, let's say you made some product sales, you sold $1,000 of whatever it is that you sell. You have to look at how much did it cost you of your time to market it? How much did it cost you for any other expenses? And then you got to subtract out your time to build it. And what you end up with is your profit after that. That's great. I like that. It's a really good reminder.
Yeah, because let's say you're going to do it again,
Mm-hmm.
you want to compare, how did we do compared to last time? was this topic profitable if you're comparing 3 or 4 webinars you've done and to see which one pulls the best. And I think we are always so focused on revenue, but we really need to be focused on profit. You know, what is it that you have left at the end of the day?
Yeah, that's always a tough one for new entrepreneurs. You know, especially we're just focused on keeping the lights on, and you know, initially
Yeah.
as you're building the business, you know, for a lot of us in the first 5 years. I'm on my 3rd business right now, and I found, you know, it was a real struggle in the first 5 years, and I just focused on that top line number on sales, and then I would wonder why at the end of the day there wasn't any money left in the bank account. There was no profit. I think that's a common experience.
So many. It's a very, very common thing, and I used to do that too. And you know, I think that's where there's a saying: "Pay yourself first."
Yeah.
And you know, it's like you're like, well, how are you supposed to do that? Like, I got to pay the rent and the team and, you know, all of that first. But there's something about when you say, okay, I'm going to take X number a month and I'm going to pay myself regardless. Somehow, when you make that mental shift, the money just comes. It's so strange how that happens.
Yeah,
But
I love that.
it's true. When you're your greatest asset, you know, you're your most valuable asset. And if you're running your business and you're not taking anything, now I know in the beginning, you know, sometimes it may be 6 months or sometimes even a year. But when you start paying yourself, like you just feel more energized.
Absolutely.
It's, you know, there's something energetic about that too, even if it's not a lot of money, even if it's a little bit, but you need to begin doing that and obviously increase that over time. So so that's really important.
And I just made a quick note in there in the chat. One of my favorite books is called Profit First. The author is Mike Michalowicz, and it's very similar to what you were just saying. Pay yourself first, and it's great. I really appreciated that book because as a entrepreneur, I have not understood accounting for a long time. Like, accounting and me do not get along. And what I love about the book Profit First is it takes what I like to call a human approach to the financials, because accounting isn't intuitive. You know, when you look at how accounting works, but the profit first kind of system is intuitive. If you pay yourself first and, you know, mark that as your profit, then it makes the rest of it intuitive, and it really works. And I love what you said there, the money will follow, because that is absolutely true. When you pay yourself first, it's much, much easier then to find the rest, and it really works. So I love your idea there.
Yeah, good. It's super important, you know, because I mean, you know, we're building a business because we want to have a nice life. So you know, as far as then once you're figuring out the value of your time, and you want to be able to shift your focus on sales, and it is probably the biggest area that business owners struggle, Bret, is sales. I'd say it's number one.
Definitely.
And some people are natural at sales. They're just, it exudes them. And it's not like they're pushy sales. It's just they're excited, they're passionate, and people want to do business with them. And they're not afraid to ask for the sale. They put themselves in situations where they're going to be in front of the right people all the time. So what you want to be doing, besides, again, all of the online marketing and having that go consistently, which Bret is so great at, but it's also getting in front of people face to face and building relationships. And so what I do with our clients, our business owner clients, is have them sell 3 hours a day from 8:30 to 11:30 every day. In the morning is focused on sales. Now, if you have a sales team, then they should be selling all day. But if it's you want to catch people when they're, you know, they're awake, they're, you know, focused, and reaching out to people, whether it's following up with people that you met networking, reaching out and making relationship building connections. Maybe it's not even someone you do business with, but someone you could partner with or align with or support one another. And what happens is business owners procrastinate. They say, oh, I'll call them later. And then 5 o'clock rolls around and you just haven't done it.
Right.
So you kind of have to play a game with yourself and make that commitment, literally schedule it on your calendar. That time, 8:30 to 11:30 is sales, 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 sales. It's not sales and then, run and check on email. If you really stay revenue focused for the beginning of each day, you'll feel better about yourself. You'll see that people respond.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients that, are really nervous to do this, and then they call me, and one of my clients actually left the corporate world, started her own marketing company because that's what she did as a job. And now this was 2 years ago. We really worked with her. She just booked a $250,000 sale.
Wow.
And really from just getting in front of people, networking, picking up the phone and calling, and not just like, hey, do you want to do business with me? But more about just having a conversation, getting to know people, asking how you can support them. But really keep it top of mind. How many meetings do you need to schedule each week? How many people do you need to talk to? And how many sales do you need to make to be able to reach your weekly revenue goal?
That's great. I think a lot of entrepreneurs naturally avoid those things out of fear of rejection. And this is a really normal fear. All humans have some level of a fear of rejection, some people more than others. But what I find is that there's a lot of easier ways to get over those fear of rejection. And I think you said the most important part there at the end, when if you try and call on people just to make a sale, everybody knows that's a sales call, that's a one-sided deal, and that's when you're going to face a whole lot of rejection. If, on the other hand, you're reaching out and contacting customers with the intent of adding value to them, whatever that may look like. Adding value could be giving them a free consultation. Adding value could be giving them some service. Adding value could also be connecting them with another person. I add a lot of value to people if I might have a call with a prospective customer and I find out that they're not ready for my service, or that they're not at the right level yet, or whatever reason we're not a fit, but I will refer them to the exact right person that they're looking for, and I've added value to them. And what happens there then is the law of reciprocity kicks in. People automatically want to do something good back for you. And I love the response to that. I just like to say, when people say, well, thank you so much, that was wonderful, what can I do for you? Well, hey, please don't keep me a secret. Could you give me a little testimonial on my Facebook page, or could you refer me to somebody else who you think could use my services? And that works really, really well.
Yeah, I mean, you're great at that, Bret. I mean, you're always connecting people. And I years ago, I met this guy for coffee. And we sit down, and I'm thinking we're going to just share each other's, try to get each other as a client, basically. And he said to me, so Allison, tell me about your ideal client. Who is your target market? If I could send you business, who would be that ideal candidate?
Mm-hmm.
And I was so blown away by that, because I realized in that moment, like, wow, I'm doing this all wrong. I was so impressed with that. It shifted the conversation completely. Your guard goes down. And so now when I go networking, or I'm going to get on the phone with someone, the last thing I'm thinking of is, what am I going to get? I'm thinking about, what can I give? And It could be a connection. It could be referring them someone. It could be helping them with a challenge. And and then we'll set up a time for a follow-up or something like that. But it just actually gets me moving so much further than just, jumping right into the sale. Now, don't get me wrong, with the right opportunity, I will absolutely ask for the sale. So there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it takes the pressure off of everybody when you're just looking at building a relationship, because once they trust you and they feel good with you and comfortable, they're either going to refer you people or they're going to step in and do business themselves.
Maria said that was so good. Please repeat that. So I just wrote that down for you, Maria. So what I wrote is basically what you just said. So who's an influencer in your market that you could schedule a call with or an appointment with? And on that call, you could ask them, if I could send you business, who would your ideal client be? So I specifically wrote influencer, meaning it's somebody who, they probably have their own business, they, or they have their own clients, they have their own practice. That's an influencer. And they have, they could potentially be a customer for you. They could also have customers that they could refer you as well. And when you go and meet with them, you don't meet with them with the intention of getting anything. You solely go in with the intention of giving. And I love that line. If I could send you business, who would your ideal client be? That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then just kind of back to that idea of really focusing on revenue, because I think when people get into this cash flow crunch, it's because you don't have sales coming in, and you really need to have sales coming in every day.
Yeah.
And I talked to someone recently, and he told me he plays a game with himself and says, I have to book 3 appointments every day. It doesn't have to be the appointment is booked for tomorrow. It could be next month. But every day I have to book 3 appointments. Coming up with that criteria that you hold yourself to.
Yeah, I love that concept. And I tell people, one of the things you want to do is take a real look at your calendar. Look at the last 30 days and see how many one-on-one sales calls did I have, or real enrollment conversations that somebody was interested in my product, program, or service, where I could sign them up. If the answer is a very small number, close to 0, that's okay. But now just take a look at and say, okay, what am I going to do different over the next 30 days? I mean, you've got some time between now and the end of the year to have finish your year strong. What do you need to do? And how many conversations do you need to have? Sales conversations do you need to have? You can work backwards from there. I like to put down that I try and schedule 5 sales conversations per week. And again, like what you said, that doesn't mean I need to have 1 a day. There might be one day where I have 3 and the next day where I have 0, but on average, I'll have approximately 1 per day, per working day. And if you focus then on, okay, how can I just give to influencers and other prospective customers, then it makes it so much easier to find those people, because you're just out giving all the time. I call it radical giving. And it just, when you start giving like that, then you start attracting the right kind of people.
Definitely. And people start telling people about you, and they want to introduce you. One thing I will say is, if you are going to introduce people, make sure that they're going to be a benefit to one another.
Sure.
If I were to introduce you to someone, and I know your time is so valuable, Bret, and I know that they would benefit, but I want you to benefit too.
Of course.
So think about that too, because then you can kind of irritate people if you just keep fixing them up.
Yeah.
This is not, mutual support.
Sure.
Yeah. So we can jump in. So sales, obviously, and then when so that's the cash flow. And if you're going to scale, right, you have to have the cash flow coming in regularly. And then there's scaling with your team, and there's scaling with revenue streams. So why don't we talk about scaling with the revenue streams? It sounds like some of your people were interested in that.
Yeah, go for it.
So think about your revenue stream. Some of you have already more than one revenue stream, but let's think of your main one.
Mm-hmm.
And do you all have the type of business that if you're not there, if you're sleeping, you're on vacation, that you're not making any money? And so I'm just curious, how many of your people are like dollars per hour or, product business? But if you, let's say, how many of you like coffee, first of all?
I love coffee.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
I'm a coffee girl.
crazy coffee snob because we actually grow coffee on our property in Costa Rica, so I love coffee.
Oh, wow. Okay. You're higher level than me on that. All right, so you'll get this. So you can get a coffee machine on Amazon for like $79, down and dirty. It's just the kind that gets you the cup and out the door. It's not the deluxe Costa Rican machine.
Yeah.
All right, $79. Or you could go to Starbucks and get their deluxe model, which is like the $2,999 model that, does everything, espresso, lattes, and your laundry as well. Right? And the thing is, some of you might be going, well, why would anyone spend $3,000 on a coffee machine? Well, some people, that's really important to them.
Yep.
And you would. And so if you're only targeting the people that want the $79, you're missing out on this whole other market within your niche. Like some people really want the concierge premier level of their product. They want all the bells and whistles, and they're going to go there first. I want the top. Then there are other people that are going to say, I'm not really sure about this person or this product yet. Let me just test the waters. I'm going to just do the lower price version right now and see how that goes. If they do everything they say they're going to do, if they have the integrity and they keep their word, you know what? Then I could look at moving up. Mm-hmm. And so what you want to do is take whatever your revenue stream is and think about, how can I add 2 more revenue streams to this product? One that's a high value, high level, premium, more expensive level. And that gets lots of touch points from you or your team or somebody else. And then the lower level than what you're offering is kind of taking out the bells and whistles, maybe no touch points from you. Maybe it's an informational product that's like a do-it-yourself thing. Or it could be, accent products. So let's say if you have a bookstore, you sell book lights that go on the books. Things that you can cross-sell. So then you've taken that one product and you've turned it into 3 products that are working for you. Because if you're wanting to scale your business, just having one way to do it, one level of customer, you can only see so many people at a time. Mm-hmm. So I call this the revenue pyramid. And then, of course, you have your free level, which is, your opt-in, whatever the gift is that you're going to give. And that could be, an audio, a video series, something like that.
So the question then that you want to ask yourself is, how can you take your, it looks like you can go in both directions, but let's start out with your lower priced service. So let's say you're providing a service you currently charge $75 an hour for. How can you add an extra revenue stream? So in an example like this, how can you add more value to that particular service and charge a higher price? So instead of charging $75 an hour, how can you create a package that you charge $1,000 a month for 6 months? And that doesn't mean you're working, 20 hours for this person. It means that you're providing more value, so you're ending up with an upsell, another revenue stream from this particular program that you offer. I like that idea.
Yeah, exactly. And also think about some of the things that you talk about with your clients all day long, but you don't get paid for.
That's a good one.
Because you're an expert. You don't even realize you say those things all day long, right? Like you could be a health coach, but then you're talking to people about their relationships all day. You know what I mean? Or maybe you're making money on the product, but you're not getting paid for your time of supporting all of the issues in between. So you could take that expertise that you have and package that in some way and create a product or a program. And it could be an automated thing, or it's something that you bundle in and increase your price.
That is good. So what do you talk about with your clients and customers over and over again? Take that expertise and package it. So packaging, it could mean a lot of different things. You could record an audio of you answering the questions. You could make a step-by-step video. You could do a webinar like this and record it, where you're answering those questions that you get asked over and over again and you answer over and over again. Those questions you should pay very close attention to, because if your customers are asking that, that's the demand. And you see everybody is asking the same question over and over again, and you have already gotten good at answering those questions, record it. That's the demand. That's what people want. There's a problem that you solve over and over again. And so you can record that and turn that into an online information program, and that can be a great source of revenue and or more customers.
Right, and come up with something creative so that you can brand it as your own.
Mm-hmm.
Creative name. And, if you have different modules or things like that, come up with different names for those modules. Make it your own. And it doesn't have to be, it's more important that it's different rather than being better.
Yep.
Which is kind of interesting, because we're always taught it has to be the absolute best. And of course you want it to be really good. But for it to catch someone's eye, it's like, wow, that's a little different. I haven't seen it done that way, or done that way, or packaged that way.
Yeah, I love it.
So, all right, so that's scaling with the revenue streams. And then as far as the team part, this is really important, because there's a point where, I know in the subsequent businesses that I've had over the years, it's where it starts picking up, you get so dang busy, and people are calling and wanting to do business with you or emailing you, and you are so busy you can't even get back to them.
Yeah.
Have you had that, Bret?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, when I get so bogged down. Yeah.
Oh, it's a sickening feeling. Like you worked so hard to get these people, and then you can't even get back to them. That's like a crime in business, right? It's money down the drain. And so, again, you're looking at that value of your time. And if you're doing work that you could pay somebody $15 to $20 an hour, but you're worth, $100, $200, $500 or up, wow, that's a huge loss. So now, of course, you need to go out there and get that business. Use the time. So when someone is building a big business and they're doing well, they understand the value of buying your time rather than selling your time. So that means instead of you doing like we just moved into a new home, and there's a big plot of land, and I love
home's amazing, by the way. It's absolutely awesome.
Well, thank you. We love it. We bought it for the land. It's just got the space and all that, and we're just super happy there. And we love to garden. But if I was the one that had to care for that whole yard, like we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. Right? then I couldn't pay for the house, and
Right.
so it's like we try to do things to save money, but actually in reality you're losing money and you're stunting the growth. You're the bottleneck of your business, and you're keeping it small by not delegating. And some of you might be thinking, well, Allison, that's awesome. I'd love to hire a big team, but I don't have the funds to do that. And so my answer to you with that is that, first of all, once you get the person in, your revenue is going to jump.
Definitely.
You might need it, but absolutely it's going to jump. And but you don't have to start out with like an expensive executive assistant. You could start with an intern.
Yeah.
You could somebody part-time. And you could say to them, I know that be extremely successful. I know that if you really believe in this vision and you can come on board with me and help me move this vision forward, in a couple of months, we're going to be in a much better cash place, and I can pay you more.
Definitely.
But would you be willing to come on and help get this going? I mean, there's so many companies that started out that way that are, millions of dollars and more.
Yeah, I love that concept because there's nothing wrong. Sometimes we're afraid to say, oh gosh, I can't afford a full-time person. And there's certainly nothing wrong with, finding somebody who can grow with you. And I've done that. In fact, the majority of the time that I hire somebody, they don't start out full-time. We usually hire somebody for a project. They do one project and we see how it goes. And if it goes well, then we do another project. And so, I've hired people for like a $100 project or a $200 project sometimes because I want to see if they can do the job. And that took some significant work off of my plate. And then it worked out. So we did it again and we did it again. And then we started to make a little bit more money because I had more free time to pursue the right kind of clients. So I love that concept.
Yeah. And, the sooner you do it, studies show that people that hire an assistant or support in their first 6 months of business get to 7 figures so much faster. And it is a little bit of a leap of faith, but if you truly believe in what you're doing, then you just need to go for it, and that kind of leads me into the thinking that has to happen to take these big leaps. And Bret, and I know you know this, you really have to decide that you're going to be successful.
Definitely.
And you're gonna get rejection. You're gonna get tight cash flow times. You're gonna get things falling apart or losing a big client or people quitting on you, and it can get frustrating. However, once you kind of understand that that's just how business is, then you don't fall apart with every little thing that happens. You get more into, okay, what are we going to do about it? Mode. Get into solution mode. But you have to get to a place first where you really decide that you're going to be successful, because it's that decision that you make and saying that I'm going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. And that means thinking much bigger, really thinking magnanimously, and looking at possibilities. Generally, people look at the impossibilities,
right,
or where they are right now,
right,
their limits, or what's happened in the past, and project it on the situation, and that's going to stop you dead in your tracks.
Yeah.
Most successful people have to look at the unseen and make the unseen visible.
Love
it. And go from that place. And it is that like iron will, basically, like stubbornness to just keep keep working at it, and you absolutely will have your breakthrough.
Love it. Awesome. Yeah, that's I put down there. I put in the notes one of my favorite books on this topic called Mindset, written by an author named Carol Dweck, and she talks about basically puts everybody in two different categories, saying there are people out there with a growth mindset and a fixed mindset, and the fixed mindset means you don't feel like you can actually affect your world around you. If something good happens, it's luck. If something bad happens, it's fate. Versus somebody with a growth mindset, and that it's much more than simply positive thinking. It's knowing that no matter what comes up, you're going to be able to problem solve it, and you're going to be able to achieve what you want to achieve, really no matter how long it takes. And so the growth mindset is what we want. And I think that is the most fundamentally important thing that you can have that's going to lead to your success. And Cheryl corrected my spelling there. Thank you, Cheryl. Yeah, it's Carol, Dweck. That's correct. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, in my book Blast Off, I have a lot of that book developed, or to help you develop that mindset plan.
Mm-hmm.
And whether it's the wealth mindset, so that the days that the money isn't coming in and you have the bills, how do you get beyond that? And so I take you through processes there, and just your success mindset. And I've been up against insurmountable challenges in over 30 years in business, and I know you have. And if you just looked at it on paper, you'd go, this is never going to work. Like, how are you going to overcome that? But one thing that I have learned to do is if I have a lot of pressure on me for whatever reason, I don't think about tomorrow or the next day or the next day. I think about, okay, I have everything that I need right now today to get through today. And tomorrow I'll worry about tomorrow, or I'll deal with tomorrow, not worry about it. Mm-hmm. And then, day after day after day. And then all of a sudden you realize, oh my gosh, I got through the other side of that. And
yeah.
You know what I'm referring to?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I just posted your book on Amazon in the quote. So go ahead and check it out. Check out Allison's book. It's called Blast Off on Amazon. So I put the link in there. I think it's awesome. It's the surefire success plan to launch your dreams into reality. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so again, the mindset is huge. And it's interesting too. What I find is that the bigger the leaps, the bigger the rewards. Mm-hmm. So the scarier the leaps, like just kind of jumping out there and plugging your nose and squinting your eyes, like jumping off the diving board, where you're like, I have no idea how this is going to come together, but I'm going for it anyway. Even, and Peter Diamandis, who is the CEO of the X Prize, or founder of the X Prize, he says that every big breakthrough started as someone's crazy idea.
Yeah, I agree.
So all of you, whatever your crazy idea, things that you're working on, you've got to stay the course. You've got to stay focused on the dream, on the goal, and walk towards it every single day. And don't let anyone tell you that it can't be done.
Love it. Love it. Now, you have a free gift for us. Is that correct?
I do. And I'm excited, Bret, because it's brand new.
Woohoo!
Something we've been working on for a long time, and we literally finished it yesterday.
Nice. So hot off the press.
This is hot off the press. And what this is, it's a free video series. And depending on where you are in your business, whether it's early stages or, you've been in business for a while, you can kind of click the button that fits you. And it's going to take you to a 5-part video series that helps you develop your 12-month business blueprint to help you multiply your profits and simplify your life. And it's
Awesome.
the exact blueprint that I've used for either building or scaling, depending on where you are in your business. And each video has handouts with it too. So it's really an entire free program that you get.
Awesome. How do we access it?
You go to allisonmaslan.com/CEO.
Okay, so let me put it in here. Can you just spell that for everybody?
Yeah, so it's ALLISONMASLAN.com/CEO.
Okay, so everybody, I'm going to put the link in the browser there, and so then tell us here. I'm gonna do a quick little screen share so you can walk us through a little bit more about what this is and the benefit that people are going to get. So let me just share my screen. Here we go. Let me know when you can see my screen, Allison.
I'm not really.
Can you see it?
There I did. Okay,
good. So tell us again. So you're going to get your 21 business profit strategies for free.
Yeah.
How I
So
scaled.
so those profit strategies are part of the blueprint. And so if you scroll down, you'll see a video of me talking about it. And then there's 2 buttons at the bottom, and you pick where you are in your business. So if you're just starting out, even if you're under 100,000, click that button, and that will take you through my entire blueprint, and it's super powerful. If you are, edging towards $1 million and over, you would do, our scale.
Awesome. This looks fantastic. Oh, well, thank you so much. This is so generous of you. I really appreciate it. So just one more time, everybody, go. I've posted a link a couple times there right now. Go to AllisonMaslanLive.com/CEO and go ahead and get access to your free gift, your training, your blueprint. So if your business is under $1 million, click the one on the left. If it's over $1 million, click the one on the right. Fill out the form and opt in, and you're going to get Allison's blueprint and her strategies on how she scaled the business. 10 businesses from 0 to 7 figures. That is straight up awesome. Thank you so much, Allison.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. I'm excited to get it out there.
Now, you also have an event coming up in San Diego. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, I would love to. Thank you. I lead the biggest event that we do all year long. We do it once a year in January, and it's called the Blast Off Business Breakthrough. And it is in San Diego, in La Jolla, and it's January 20th to the 22nd. And this is the 6th year that we have led this event, which I cannot believe it's been 6 years. But the event sells out every year. We've got about 500 business owners flying in from all over the country. And what is unique about this event, because, your time is really valuable. So you have to sit there and think, for me to spend 3 days, this has got to be pretty out of the box. So basically, it's an intensive workshop. So it's not just, a bunch of speakers and kind of rah-rah. It's actually where we build your business blueprint. So we start out on day 1 working on your revenue streams. Then we go into your marketing, online, offline. Then we do sales strategies and role play on sales. We do building your team, how to build your team, how to hire, all those details, how to create systems to automate your business, time management. And you leave on Sunday with a plan for the year. Like in your hand, you have this roadmap. And by having that, you feel confident and you feel clear and you know exactly how to spend your time. And that just, you end up making so much more money because you're not like, spinning around trying to figure out what to do. And so we have people that come back to this event every year. And, when do you really get 3 days to stop your life and plan your life? So a lot of times people bring their spouse and, and it really goes along very much with what Bret is teaching You know, I love the compatibility of the way that we work together.
Definitely.
And I believe in the work that you do is so amazing. And so, you know, the value of this event is incredible. You really, really get and understand how to take that business to a much higher level. And the networking's off the charts. You know, you got 500 business owners. So people do thousands of dollars of business just with people in the room. So that's super amazing. We have negotiated a great rate at the Marriott in La Jolla, $159 a night.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's just, and you can bring a friend for $197. It's just, it's a great, great event, and a great way to kick off your year.
I love it. Thank you so much. I put the link for the Blast Off event in the chat. So if you want to check out her Allison's Blast Off event, you can go to blastoffevent.com. I put that in there. And if you got value out of our interview today with Allison, go into the questions box and write the word value. Thank you so much, Allison. This has been such a pleasure. I love having you on. You've got amazing information, great energy, and I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Bret. You're awesome. And happy holidays to everybody. So great to connect with you.
Awesome.
Bye, everybody.
So be sure one last time, go to AllisonMaslanLive.com/CEO. And next week, we're going to change it up a little bit. So normally we're on at 1 p.m. Pacific every Tuesday. We're going to move to 4 p.m. Pacific. So we're going to take this same program and we're just going to move it 4 hours later. So we're going to see you next time, just a little bit later at 4 p.m. Pacific, but the same exact place. And I can't wait to help you get started building your business together. I'm Bret Gregory. We'll see you next week. Namaste.
Bye.